Coming up here on The Shield, a visit day over the weekend brings hundreds of prospective students here to Valpo.
And we look at one student that has made a big change moving from Texas here to Valpo.
Coming up, I'll let you know when the cold weather will stick around and also when we see our next chance of snowfall. All that and some more coming up. You're watching The Shield here on VUTV.
Thank you for joining us here on The Shield. I'm Brendan Johnson.
And I'm Ricky Cody. The Valpo community is full of energy and excitement as the women's soccer team advances to the NCAA tournament.
It was in the 84th minute that tournament MVP April Cronin scored the lone goal that gave Valpo a 1-0 lead against Detroit. We now turn to Shield News correspondent Teddy Whitmyer, who has the latest from the Hara Union at the NCAA Division I Women's Soccer Selection Show.
And it was a day full of anticipation for the Women's Crusaders soccer team as they waited anxiously to find out where exactly they would be seated in the NCAA tournament after beating Detroit in the finals of the Horizon League tournament this past Saturday.
Well, all the activity wasn't just here on Brown Field, Brendan, as the admissions office held their annual regular visit day and actually the last one of the semester.
Yeah, that's right, Ricky. Valpo welcomed about 500 prospective students here to campus, and we here at VUTV wanted to see what a visit day is all about.
Last Saturday, over 500 prospective students came to Valpo for a visit day. VUTV was able to speak with tour guide Alex Siebert about what the visit day is all about.
Today is all about kind of showing prospective students kind of what we have to offer here at Valpo and really kind of show them what we're all about and how much fun it is to be a student here.
Alex also told us what high school students can expect to experience on a visit day.
They're going to go to 2 info sessions, so from anything that they're interested in, they're going to go to 2 different sessions and kind of get a little bit more information about that field. And then from there, they're going to be given a tour, so they're going to get to go around campus and see what it's all about. And then from that, we're going to have a couple panels so they can go and ask questions about campus and student life and things like that.
And we even asked Alex what his most favorite place to show on campus is.
My favorite part of campus, that would have to be the chapel, mostly because it's just so awesome. And how it's just so big and the organ's just amazing. So I really like to show that because a lot of students just get awestruck by the chapel, which is really cool.
The transition from Texas to Valpo can be a tough one, but Byron Martin will give it a go as he was named the new OMP director and looking to make an immediate impact here on Valpo's campus. Randall Cork has more.
Valparaiso University Office of Multicultural Programs has gone through transitions in the last year. In June, Byron Martin began his position as the director of OMP. Prior to June, Monique Nunez and Samuel Payan served as the interim director and program coordinators.
It's been transitional in the sense that we've been in transition for a long time, given that we haven't had a director really for a long time. And so as Byron came on board, he brought really good ideas.
I actually found out about Valparaiso through a colleague, somebody that's already in the field of higher education, actually working at another university, actually working at an institution not too far from here in Michigan, told me about the position that was available here as the director of multicultural program.
Byron came from a school in Texas called Abilene Christian University, his alma mater. But coming from Texas to Indiana is no easy task.
As far as the transition itself goes, it was probably less than smooth, but that's more so my fault than anything. I spent the summer in Swaziland, Africa, in the capital city there in Maban. And so I was there for about a month, and so we're finalizing contracts and making sure those things get signed, doing background checks while I'm in Swaziland.
Although the transition was rough, there is still a job to be done. And Byron would like to bring a little of Abilene, Texas to Valparaiso, Indiana.
I just want to norm some structures in the OMP, those being structures of assessment and evaluation, not just amongst our office, but amongst our student groups, so that we can have a clear baseline and be able to measure what we're doing. There's so many incredible things going on here, and a lot of times we're not able to measure them because we don't have the structures in place. So I would say the last thing that we want to do is to make sure that our students are still having a top-rate, incredible student experience while they're here, that encourages them and helps them participate and facilitate growing culturally. A lot of times in a lot of higher ed theory, we want students to grow socially, we want them to grow academically, we want them to even grow spiritually, but we don't talk about them growing culturally into being better people, into who they are culturally.
And still to come here on The Shield, we have the latest on the Phila lander that successfully landed on a comet.
And President Obama has nominated a new official for Attorney General.
Starting off with radar right now, this is the 6-hour loop. You can see lake effect snow showers coming off Lake Michigan right now. They can see almost up to 4 inches of snow in the southern part of Michigan. Here in Valparaiso, though, we're just left with a couple of white snowflakes here and there, but overall, nothing too major. Current conditions right now at the Valparaiso Airport, 28 degrees, partly sunny outside, winds west at 14 miles per hour. I'll have your full forecast coming up next and let you know when we can see our next chance of snowfall and also how long will this cold weather stick around. Stay tuned. You're watching The Shield here on VUTV.
For over 100 years, VU has trusted the torch for reliable and accurate accounts of campus happenings. And with an end of a century, we would like to say thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Valpo.
We have been covering stories that will impact you both in print and online. For Players Spotlight and next week events, to the opinions you have, count on us as Valpo's most reliable source for campus happenings. 4-time winner of College Weekly of the Year, The Torch, home of the truth, celebrating 100 years of excellence in journalism.
Welcome back to The Shield. You know, in the past, space exploration has led us to landing on planets, moons, and even asteroids. But on Wednesday, they landed on a comet for the first time. CNN's Sunlan Surfati has more on this historic mission.
Celebration as this spacecraft landed on a comet, traveling at 41,000 miles per hour, 317 million miles away.
This is a big step for human civilization.
This touchdown has been a long time in the making. For 10 years, the spacecraft traveled 4 billion miles, fixed to the side of the Rosetta. Wednesday morning, the Philae was released from its mothership, seen here in photos taken moments after separating, in free fall for a dramatic 7-hour descent towards the comet. Orbiter will stay attached to the comet for the next year. In Washington, I'm Sunlan Surfati.
Wednesday was also a frightening day for 2 window washers in New York City. Firefighters had to rescue them after they became trapped on scaffolding dangling near the 69th floor of the One World Trade Center. Law enforcement officials say the scaffold became disabled after one of the cables snapped, leaving it hanging to one side. Firefighters cut a hole through a thick double-pane glass window to pull the 2 workers into safety. The workers were tethered inside the scaffold the entire time, and fortunately, no one was hurt.
And now we turn to the nation's capital, where President Obama has formally nominated Loretta Lynch to become the next Attorney General. The position, vacated by Eric Holder earlier this year, would be succeeded by Lynch if she were confirmed. Lynch is a well-known prosecutor, serving her second term as a U.S. attorney in New York. Lynch could make history by becoming the first African-American woman to hold the post.
The parents of slain teenager Michael Brown are in Switzerland to speak to the UN Human Rights Panel about the shooting death of their son. They testified before a UN committee against torture, which also addresses police brutality and excessive force. The parents say they want the world to know what is going on in Ferguson. The family's lawyer says the issue of violence at the hands of the police needs to be addressed in Missouri.
It wasn't necessary to take Michael Brown Jr.'s life, given the situation that the officer was confronted with. And totally, I mean, the kid was running away from him, so it was not necessary for him to continue shooting at Michael as Michael Jr. was running away. So in that regard, that was totally a use of force that was unnecessary. and a lack of appreciation for the life that he was about to take.
All her life, a Nebraska woman has just wanted to become a Girl Scout. Well, finally, on her 81st birthday, that wish came true. CNN's Rebecca Ray reports.
A reaction 8 decades in the making. Marilyn Black's entire life, she wanted to be a Girl Scout.
We were poor, we couldn't afford the fee.
For Marilyn's 81st birthday, her sister gave a priceless gift. She contacted Girl Scouts of America asking for a used uniform. Instead, the troop accepted her as their own.
To be a Girl Scout, you have to live by the Girl Scout promise and law. And really, that's just about being a good human being.
Everyone around her will vouch she's met those requirements. Decades after she first yearned for that fellowship, Marilyn is a daisy.
When her sister and I sat down to look at all the requirements of being a daisy, all the things that they can achieve, we realized that Marilyn had already achieved almost all of those.
All but one. Marilyn still had to be a sister to every Girl Scout.
This is going to be the best troop ever.
And within seconds of receiving her cap and vest, she earned that final pedal.
We share stuff, don't we? Like if I want your pin, you give it to me.
Now we won't have to hear about her not being a Girl Scout when she was little and poor.
She may be the oldest daisy ever inducted to a troop, but she has just as much spunk as any of her new sisters.
I'm proud to be one. I mean, who gets to be 81 and gets to be a Girl Scout?
A daisy proving you're never too old to dream.
Anything is possible.
You know, Brenda, we're heading out for Thanksgiving break, but one of the biggest things that happens over Thanksgiving break is Black Friday. And, you know, it can bring out the bargain hunter in all of us, but 2 Southern California women have taken that to a whole new level. Vicky Torres and Juanita Sala have been camped outside of the Best Buy in Beaumont since last Wednesday. That's 22 days before the deals are unleashed on Black Friday. The pair are hoping to score a huge deal on their new TV for their families.
Definitely an interesting story there. Well, just ahead, Storm Shield meteorologist Andrew Whitmyer will join us with your full Valpo weather forecast. Stay with us.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
And now your dependable and accurate weather forecast with meteorologist Andrew Whitmyer.
Good morning, everyone. Taking a look at the current radar outside. It's been kind of cold this morning. We also see some snowflakes right now, and that is because we have some lake effect snow going on right now. We see these lake effect snow bands. They're very light right now across much of the area. In the southern part of lower Michigan, though, western side of Lake Michigan, we are seeing a lot more lake effect snow bands up there. They can see up to almost 3 to 4 inches of snow where they're currently under a winter weather advisory, so they're getting some decent snowfall right now up there. But for us, we're just up with a couple of snowflakes off and on across the area. Currently right outside, though, here in Valparaiso, 28 degrees, winds west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. Taking a look at temperatures across much of the area, 28 here in Valpo, 26 over in Chicago, 26 down in Kankakee, 25 in Lafayette, and 28 over in South Bend. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the forecast model for temperatures right now. You can see around noontime will be right around the freezing mark, right around 32 degrees across much of the area. By the time he advances through by Thursday at 4 p.m., 30 here in Valpo, 31 in Gary, and 31 over in Chicago, 30 over in South Bend. By Friday morning, though, before you go up to work, you want to make sure to grab the jacket and the scarf and the hat before you head out, because it's going to be 26 degrees. Wind chills are going to be down into the teens by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, so definitely make sure to grab that winter jacket. By Friday afternoon, 28 degrees here in Valpo, 30 in Gary, and 31 over in Chicago. So if you're going to the women's basketball game, make sure to grab that jacket. And then for the men's basketball game, definitely make sure to grab that jacket because we will see temperatures start to fall again into the lower 20s and wind chills will be in the teens. Now, another story that we have is another round of snow across the area. This is RPM forecast model. Starting off at 10 a.m. again, you can see on Friday just partly cloudy skies across the area. But watch the southern part of your screen. You can see this cloud start to push through the area, and this is thanks to our next system coming through. Yes, that's right. That is snow coming our way, and lots of it. By Saturday at 4 p.m., you will see the snow starting to work its way into the Valparaiso area. It'll already be hitting the outer suburbs of Chicago. Just getting ready to hit Valparaiso, though. And by 9 p.m., we will start to see the snowfall come across the area. And by 7 a.m., again, the snow will start to work its way out. Now, just real quick, I want to show you what the RPM forecast model is estimating for us right now. Almost near 3 inches of snow here in Valparaiso, almost near 4 inches in LaPorte and South Bend. So it is a sign that we are going to start seeing some snowfall across the area. So your storm shelter forecast for today, 32 degrees, partly to mostly cloudy. Winds about of the west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. For tonight, we'll drop down to low right on 22 degrees, partly cloudy, and those wind chills will be in the teens. Your forecast for tomorrow, 32 degrees, partly to mostly sunny, and again, those wind chills will be in the 20s, so definitely make sure to grab the jacket. Your Storm Shield 5-day forecast is looking pretty chilly. Again, Friday it's going to be partly cloudy skies across the area. Saturday is when we have our next best chance of snow across the area. Could see up to almost 3 inches of snow. Sunday, cloudy, 32 degrees, but look at Monday and Tuesday. Those high temperatures will only be in the middle 20s across the area. Teens in the 16s. So it's a sign that winter is definitely here to stay.
I was walking to class, this morning, absolutely chilly. It's something that we're really not looking for this time of year. So.
And like I mentioned before, too, Saturday looks to be our next chance of a decent snowfall for this year.
Wow.
Like I'm actually just over you, so if you want to leave, that'd be great. So, thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, well, thanks, Andrew. And as part of VUTV, we not only try to bring you the latest in Valpo news and sports, but we also strive to bring you the most up-to-date weather coverage from our meteorology department. Well, Storm Shield news correspondent Amy Vanderheyden sat down with some of the professors and got an inside look into this changing field.
Created in 1991 out of the already existing geography department, the Valparaiso University Department of Meteorology was founded to give undergraduate students a better curriculum in meteorology. Professor Kevin Gobert is one of 4 faculty members in the department, and he spoke to me on the way students are taught in the program.
And one of the great aspects of this program is that they teach specifically, and so they do some research on the side, but that their goal is on preparing undergraduate meteorology majors for all aspects of meteorology careers.
The meteorology program is twofold here at Valpo, offering classes for both broadcast meteorology and operational research meteorology.
The thing about meteorology at Valparaiso University is it doesn't matter what area of meteorology you want to go into. Everyone takes the same amount of courses in the same classes. And so it doesn't matter that some of my friends will be going into research and I'm going into broadcasting. All of us have the exact same meteorology degree. So I still have that scientific knowledge that backs me up over someone with just a communication degree who's kind of learning weather on the fly.
Aside from the in-class work, VU's meteorology department boasts 4 extracurricular clubs for students to further their education. These clubs include Chi Epsilon Pi, the Meteorological Honor Society, the Valparaiso University Storm Intercept Team, focusing on the in-field research during severe weather, the Northwest Indiana chapter of the National Weather Association American Meteorological Society, and work here with the VUTV Weather Department.
In VU's at our Storm Intercept team, we have a lot of what we call code yellows, deciding whether we're going to go chasing or not. And basically we have a weather discussion to determine if the setup will be chaseable. And I've learned a lot about being able to forecast and nowcast for severe storms by going to those discussions as well.
Your coursework is only one thing. It's all that hands-on experience that really helps you in the long run. And so whether it's storm chasing, whether it's getting involved in VUTV and doing weather updates to kind of get yourself used to a real-world experience, it's everything outside the classroom that really helps define what you will do with your degree post-graduation.
For the Shield on VUTV, I'm Amy Vanderheyden.
Well, it has been a very, very great weekend to be a Crusader here on campus.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk more about how did the women do in women's soccer, as well as take a look at our football team coming up with Rachel Dabertin next.
And welcome back to The Shield. Joining us now in sports is Rachel Dabertin. Rachel, what a weekend in ValpoAthletics.
That's right, Brendan. Guys, isn't it funny how sports works? On any other weekend, the Valpo football team beating Butler would be the #1 story, no questions asked. However, they were a bit overshadowed this weekend, and that is because the Valparaiso's women's soccer team is heading to the NCAA tournament. The Crusaders matched up against Detroit in an extremely anticipated Horizon League championship match, and it certainly lived up to the hype. It was a physical match that only saw 2 yellow cards but had 29 fouls throughout the match's entirety. Both teams battled back and forth, fighting for field position, and for a while it seemed as though we would be setting up for extra time. But April Corin was having none of that. As she scored the game-winning goal in the 83rd minute, sending Valpo to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2005. Well, to add for a fantastic weekend in Valpo sports, the Hoosier helmet has made its return to Valparaiso. After a 72-10 loss to Butler last year, Valpo's football team had nowhere to go but up. With the Crusaders' elevated play this year, coupled with the fact that Butler had a good amount of vulnerabilities, the Crusaders were looking good going into the contest. Valpo jumped right on the Bulldogs and went into the first half with a 14-3 lead. The Crusaders' defense would continue to be the story, as they did not allow a single point in the second half, and won the final game by the score of 17-3. The Crusaders are taking it to the West Coast next weekend as they will match up against San Diego this coming Saturday. Rounding out the weekend was volleyball, who had 2 big Horizon League matchups this weekend. Valpo defeated Wright State in straight sets on Friday by the scores of 25-21, 25-11, 25-19. But unfortunately, they were beat by Oakland the following Saturday by the final scores of 23-25, 25-15, 32-34, 25-16. The Crusaders will be on the road next weekend as they take on UIC this coming Saturday. It was certainly another fun sports weekend here in Valparaiso, and stay connected to all things Valpo at ValpoAthletics.com. Guys, back to you.
All right, definitely an exciting weekend in sports. Thanks, Rachel. And now let's move our attention to the hardwood. As Valpo men's basketball is preparing for the season, they have already suffered a loss. Sophomore guard Lexus Williams, who earned a spot on the Horizon League all-freshman team, tore his ACL in a summer training session and has been fighting to get back since. Shield sports correspondent Dustin Levi has more.
It happened August 25th, this summer before school started. And it was up in the Hilltop gym, and I was coming down on the fast break, and, I tried to come to a stop so fast that my knee just went in and it popped. I felt kind of weird about it, so I was just like, our trainer, Rob Moore, I just told him, I think I need an MRI just to be safe. So I went to get the MRI, and when I went there, the doctor was just like, I'm telling you now that I think it's your ACL. So I was just praying the whole time I was in the MRI that it wasn't, but it happened to be that. When the news came out, everybody was down, but for myself, I had to be strong because I knew everybody else around me would feel, some pity and stuff like that and just sad for me. But I took it upon myself to just be strong about it and positive, and I know that God has a plan for me. I chalk it up as God just, putting his hand on me and, taking me down the path that I'm supposed to. So if it was supposed to happen, it was supposed to happen. Right now it's going great. Ever since I started rehab the day after surgery, and it's been going great ever since. Right now I'm a month ahead of schedule, so everything isn't shut down. I might return, so you never know. Well, after the surgery I didn't eat much, but now I've picked it up and been eating healthy, and now I've started to run and jump and start working out and stuff. So, just keeping up with that. Every day in practice I'm yelling and giving energy and always intense, always talking to guys, letting guys know where they need to be, what they need to do, things like that. My expectation is the same as if I was playing, go to the NCAA tournament, have a 20-win season.
Thanks so much for that, Dustin. After the break, Andrew's back to ruin the rest of your weekend. Stay with us. For over 100 years, VU has trusted the torch for reliable and accurate accounts of campus happenings. And with an end of a century, we would like to say thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Valpo.
We have been covering stories that will impact you both in print and online. For Players Spotlight and next week events, to the opinions you have, count on us as Valpo's most reliable source for campus happenings. 4-time winner of College Weekly of the Year, The Torch, home of the truth, celebrating 100 years of excellence in journalism. You guys, before the break, I kind of threw Andrew a bit of a dig, but for people who actually like snow, you actually do have a stellar forecast for this weekend.
Yes, it looks like we're going to have a system come through on Saturday. That's going to bring us some snowfall coming up through Saturday afternoon hours. We could see almost 3 inches of snow possibly around the Valparaiso area. Also near 4 inches near LaPorte and South Bend. But again, these are all estimates, and those could vary from time to time as Saturday gets closer. So let's go to your 5-day forecast now. For Friday, it's looking partly sunny skies across the area, 32, low of 20. Again, Saturday, that's when we can see the snow showers come back in. But look at Monday and Tuesday, the low temperatures. They're going to be in the teens with wind chills in the single digits. So it's a sign that winter is here to stay for at least the short-term forecast.
Not something that we're looking forward to, I can tell you, right before Thanksgiving break. Not good at all.
It's time to head to Florida.
I would agree with that statement.
Well, I mean, if you're going home for a break, I mean, you have, essentially 10 days of vacation time to absolutely leave here and go somewhere warm.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We'll have more, as we always do, next week here on The Shield. For that, I'm Ricky Cody.
And I'm Brendan Johnson. For Andrew, Rachel, and all of us over here at VUTV, have a great rest of the week.